When you need advice, come to Ben and Kelly. It's Group Therapy on 99.7 DJX.
For checking out the show for the very first time, Kelly, explain what group therapy is all about.
It's kind of a safe place where you can come and maybe get some advice on an issue you're struggling with, especially if you feel like you can't go to your family.
All right, so in 30 seconds or less, explain what your issue is.
So I haven't seen my male best friend in 3 years because my husband is against our friendship. He believes that if two attractive people hang out, someone will eventually make a move on the other person. I need some advice. Like, what can I say to convince my husband that this relationship is just truly platonic? You know, my best friend is the reason why I'm with my husband today to begin with. And now he doesn't want us hanging out. So what can I do?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that is tough when you've got attractive best friends who are of the opposite sex, and you know they're it kind of always goes back to, was there ever an opportunity for them to date and they just didn't? Did they try dating and it didn't work out the first time? You know, I mean, like, some of that history is lost on this right now, and I think that might be some of the key in figuring this out.
Yeah, you know what? I think, though, at the very, like, if you're stripping it down to the basics of this issue, I mean, you've got to trust your spouse.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if there's, and she even said that this male friend is the reason she's with the husband. So I would think that the husband would like that guy.
Yeah, you'd think. But maybe, I don't know.
Like, deep down, he's got hit some of his own insecurities.
Maybe he has some insecurities. Maybe he recognizes that this guy is like of a different attractiveness and something that, and who knows, maybe his wife like makes comments about, like, oh my gosh, you know, Barry is just so cute, or just maybe she makes some sort of weird comments that, like, he's like, dude, you are staying away from this guy.
Well, Nicole brings up a really good suggestion. Like, what about a group hang? Double date if your friend's in a relationship with someone else. But honestly, jealousy is such an awful thing. It sometimes, you know, comes from PTSD. It has nothing to do with you at all, but perhaps some marriage counseling would be helpful to try to get to the root of it, because it sounds like it's kind of his issue.
Yeah, would love to hear from people who have one of those friends. Totally platonic. And,
but hot,
but attractive, and like, I'd love to know how that all worked out, especially like if one of you has a spouse and how that all goes down. So anyways, 502-571-9970, you can call or text. This is Group Therapy. That her friend or best friend, who happens to be a guy, the relationship's completely platonic, and to, you know, not be so jealous, and because she hadn't seen him in like 3 years.
Yeah, which is, you know, kind of sad, because it says that this male best friend is the reason she's with her husband.
Right.
So, you know, Shannon said jealousy has no room in a marriage. If he has feelings of distrust, then he should have never gotten married. In a marriage, you have to trust each other, no questions asked. We are entitled to have friends or best friends, regardless if it's male or female.
So Bethany kind of says the opposite. I had a friend like this, she says, on text. We were besties, did everything together. When I got with my husband, he didn't like it and said that he could tell my friend had a liking for me. I thought he was just paranoid. Until one day, my friend got really drunk and asked to see my boobs. Friendship over. My husband was right.
Okay. All right. So then Jerry's kind of rolling in with another man's perspective. He said he's a man, seeing how all these women in the comments seem to not have a problem with it. But if the shoe was on the other foot, it would be a different story, which is kind of valid. Men know men, period. Is it jealousy or being territorial?
So I guess looking at it that way, if your husband, Michael, were to have like a really attractive best friend who was a female, you'd feel some sort of way, would you? Or would you be all right with it?
If they wanted to meet alone a lot, yes.
Yeah,
I think that's the
that.
thing. Like, if they hang out and they're together, I feel like it should be fine. Maybe he's got a point in not wanting them to go off and spend time alone together.
Right. Amy kind of rolls in and corroborates that, saying, my husband and I married for 13 years. I have a rule that we only hang with the opposite sex in a group or when we're together. If he is the reason they are together, then he is worth getting to know by your spouse as well as able to hang out together. So there's no need to make unnecessary problems by hanging out alone. All right.
Okay.
Riley, what's your perspective on this?
I want this girl and maybe her husband to look at it from like a lesbian perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Lesbians have a lot of straight friends and a lot of lesbian friends. My best friend's a lesbian, and she's had girlfriends in the past asking if she needs to be worried about me. We've gone through those kind of conflicts. I'm like, you're literally sitting right next to my boyfriend. Why am I an issue? Because we're spending all this time together.
Yeah.
But they are interested in that sex.
Sure.
But if they have something in common, they're going to be friends.
What would you tell her to say to her husband or whatever, you know?
That's a different story. She can choose how she wants to say that, because I would be very forward and be like, that sounds like an issue, not an ish me type thing.
Okay. I've never heard that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But so that has to be her thing, because I would be completely blunt. But that's why my boyfriend and I's relationship works out, is because we are very straightforward with each other.
All right.
I don't know. However she communicates with him.
All right. Thanks, Riley.
I think that's a T-shirt in the making.
That's an
That
issue.
sounds like an issue, not an ish me. Jason kind of says, you know what? My best friends are female and both are married. Neither of their husbands have a problem with us hanging out because they trust their wives. Sound like this guy has trust issues, could be a sign that he is being unfaithful.
Yeah. I do like Eric's confidence on the text line. He's like, yo, me and my best friend are of the opposite sex, and we're both very attractive. and I would never thinking about getting with her. She's too much like a sister. Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes. See, I think that's the quality of a lot of these platonic friendships, is that, you know, it's kind of like their brother and sister. That's why you never dated.
But hasn't there been movies about this?
Okay. One in particular. What? Name it.
I don't know. I'm just like, there wasn't it like a Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Lopez movie, or maybe it was a Hugh Grant, Sandra Bullock movie, or a Julia Roberts, my best friend's wedding.
No,
maybe wasn't that it?
No.
Something like that. All right, well, never mind. All right, so what are we telling her? What are we telling her? Well, are we just saying be direct and say
yes.
get them together as a group?
Absolutely. I feel like if they start hanging out a little bit more often, like as a threesome, or like I said, if this guy's got a girlfriend, then, you know, go out and double dates and all that kind of stuff. I think if husband gets to know best friend a lot better, I mean, maybe they can be bros, and then everybody's happy.
All right. I like that. I like that suggestion. So if you are sitting there listening to this going, guys, you are missing it completely. Go ahead.
An issue, not an ish me.
Right, exactly. Go ahead and comment on the Facebook page at Ben and Kelly Show. All right, that's group therapy.